Yo, guys, what's going on? I ended up bringing Kaidos to locals today, which is Friday, and I played against some pretty good competition for the most part. And yeah, I'll kind of commentate on the games. If you guys see these mats right here, these are actually the custom mats that I have made. I mean, obviously I didn't design them myself, but we hired an artist to make our mats for us. And because our website got delayed just a little bit, then we are going to be selling them right now. So if you are in our Discord, go ahead and join. And I'm going to have a store channel where you can react to the emoji, or I'm sorry, react to one of the pictures of which one you want, and then we'll sell them to you. They're going for $49.99 right now, and then plus shipping too. So I think these are super beautiful. We have the waifu ones, and then we have the three captains ones. These are all Lunar New Year themed, and I just really like them a lot. I think they really came out well. I really like the quality of it, and it just feels really good to play with. So these are going to be my mats for the future. So if you guys like them, feel free to hit me up or on Instagram or I'm sorry, not Instagram, on Discord, and then you can get one yourself. So with that being said, let me talk about this game now. So I brought Kaidos to locals. Like I said, round one, I'm actually playing against a guy who also went 5-1 at the case tournament that I went to, and he got top 8 because his tiebreakers are just a little bit better than mine. And so he is a very experienced Sakazuki player, and he's just a very good player in general. And basically what happens, he swings 5 at life, and I take it and I trigger into a double finger, trashing a double finger to gain a Don. And the reason I do that is because I want to be able to establish bodies. I also want to kind of bait him into using cards to get rid of it, so my stuff later on can stick, right? So if I just keep having 5k bodies swing into him, eventually I want him to use a Hound Blaze on her, or maybe even target it with Lucci or something like that. So he reads it real quick and he's like, why would you do that? You just Don minus and then basically gain a Don. It's literally just for the body, which actually comes up very much so later on. So I'll kind of talk to you about my plays, but if there is a blueprint to beating Sakazuki, I'm sure as hell going to try to show it to you in this video right here, and hopefully I can just point it out. So passes a turn, I refresh my Don, I get a Don as rested from Onigashima, which is the stage right there, just gives you a rested Don every turn. I swing 6 at his life. Now the reason I swing 6 here is I could have just gone 5 and 5, but I actually don't want to rest the double finger just yet, especially because I'm going to be doing something else this turn, and I'd rather just not have any rested characters, especially because I had nothing in my hand for me to even play. So I was ramping into basically 10 Dawn the next turn because of Miss All Sunday and Onigashima. So I literally, if you guys can see my hand, I have a Babanuki and that's about it. So I want him to attack my life as much as possible so I can try to find answers to, drop on curve here, because he's going to be at, I think, 6 Dawn this turn. Yeah, 6 Dawn this turn. And if I can just drop a bomb on him, when he's going to 8 Dawn, I feel like I'm just overall in a better spot. I can put a lot of pressure on him. So obviously Sakazuki doesn't always have removal, and especially they don't always have the Dawn for removal, where Rebecca Hinalucci is only a certain amount. So he swings 5 at life here, and I take it because I want to bait him into attacking my life again because I still have no answers. And he plays a Rebecca, and then he's going to get back a 2k counter to Shiki, and then he's going to play a Hina from hand, and he's going to cost reduce the Miss All Sunday. He's going to Hound Blaze it, and then he's going to swing 6 at my life, which I debate countering out. You can see I got Khalifa's in hand, but I was like, I still don't really have any plays, so I'm going to need to go ahead and get one. And he gets a little too overzealous here with this Borsellino, because I was going into 10 Dawn. He was trying to play around a 10 cost Kaido, but he played perfectly into a 9 cost Kaido, which obviously helps me out a lot. So I'm going to Dawn minus 5. I'm going to pop that Rebecca right there. I'm going to gain a Dawn rested with Onigashima, and then of course I'm just going to, there's no reason to attack his life right now. He only has 4 cards in hand, and I'm going to swing into his Borsellino right there. So, of course, if you guys watched my video before, I said, Purple Luffy made big mistakes not clearing his board and, giving him more cards to be able to remove his stuff. So I'm going to give him as little cards as possible to be able to remove my Kaido, and if it can stick, I'm in a really good spot. Now, of course, Sakazuki is not a great matchup for us. I swing 4 into his brand new, so now, as you guys can see, this double finger's putting in work right now, right? It might have taken a little bit of a turn, but I cleared his brand new pretty easily, and I swung 6 into the Hina, in which he gives me the 2k counter that he got off the Rebecca. And I go ahead and pass my turn. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I got 2 life, which obviously isn't ideal, but I had to take that life to be able to gain some type of momentum, and that Kaido really helped me out. Also, he played a little bit too forward into that. He tried to play around the 10 cost Kaido and actually got 9 cost Kaido, so just a little bit of a mistake on his part right there, but it wasn't too bad overall. So he only has 4 cards in hand, which is great. He goes ahead and trashed the 2k counter, which, hey, I'll take, right? Like, that actually comes up that comes up later on in the game. So he's looking for answers here. He's going to 8 Dawn, or he has 8 Dawn right now, and he's looking for answers to get rid of a 9 cost. And, you know, the cleanest answer is Borsalino Ice Age, but when you only have 4 cards in hand, it's a little bit hard to do that. So he's swinging 7 at my life right there, and then I don't want to play into another Hound Blaze, so I just counter out easily with 8, and he's going to go 7 into my life again, which is smart, you know, put a little pressure on my life. But he goes ahead and swings 7. I'll go ahead and take it. And then I think I trigger into... No, it was a Judgment of Hell. And I was like, yeah, I don't think there's a point to do so. And then he plays this Borsalino right here. So I am going into, I believe, 8 Dawn. And then I use Onigashima to get a rested 9th Dawn. And what I go ahead and do is I play a Captain Kid here. And this is the alternate art for the Kid. And then I use a Sheep's Horn to rest the Borsalino blocker. And then I go ahead and gain a Dawn as active for the for Kid. And the reason I did this is because I know it's early and usually save the Sheep's Horn for late. But because he couldn't clear my Kaido last turn, I'm not going to give him any more cards, at least temporarily, to kill my Kaido this turn, and I'm just going to establish bodies on the board to be able to do so. So then I swing 5 at his Hina right there, and then he goes ahead and counters, and then I debate putting 2 Dawn on my double finger to try to kill the Hina, but I was like, I'd rather just save the Dawn for Judgment of Hell, because I think I can live depending on how much Dawn you use to get rid of this Kid right here. So I'd rather have the Judgment of Hell in hand, as well as I think I had 3 other K encounters, so I think I can get to 11, which I think is the right math, because I think he can only, if he Judgments of Hell, if he Hound Blazes, I think he can only get to like 10k for each of them. If I'm thinking right, or maybe like 10, 11, and I had enough to get out of one of the 10, so that's why I saved the Dawn up there, right there. I couldn't risk him saving the Hina and then being able to, you know, kill me basically with the Hound Blaze. So that's why I went ahead and passed right there. So he goes ahead and plays a brand new, which obviously I'm in a great spot, right? Then he goes ahead and swings 7 with Hina. I Judgment of Hell minus the Hina by 3,000, then minus the leader by 3,000. You know, Ryan is the guy that I'm playing against. He hasn't played. He started playing like towards the end of set 3, I think. So he didn't really know exactly what Judgment of Hell did. So I had to kind of let him know. So I just kind of, you know, we were just kind of talking about it right here, but Ryan is a heck of a player. He's a very smart guy. He's a doctor. So of course his brain works in a very cerebral way. So he's already, with the short amount of time he's been playing this game, he's been pretty good. Very good. One of the best players in Jacksonville for sure. So it is now his turn. Of course, after attacking with the 7k, obviously, I threw him off a little bit with the Judgment of Hell. So he trashes his Lucci right there, and he's like, okay, what do I got here? What do I got here? So he's kind of making some decisions here, and he's like, all right, what am I going to do? And he only has a couple cards in hand. And when I checked his trash earlier, he went through 5 2Ks. And now I will say he did recently switch to the 10 2K build, but you know, the odds that he has 2Ks in his hand, not very great, right? You know, he only has 3 cards in hand. What are the odds he has 3 2Ks? Probably not the greatest. I'm sorry, he has 2 cards in hand. So it's not the best odds that, you know, he's going to be able to get all these 2Ks in hand. So I'm actually I'm donning out my turn right now, because I'm thinking about going for lethal. I drew a bunch of dead cards the last like 3 turns. You know, I drew 2 10-cost Kaidos and I think another Onigashima. So even if I live, like, I couldn't really live here next turn unless I got kind of lucky. So I was debating if there was a route for me to even win this game if I wait another turn, but I was like, probably not. And the odds of him having what he needs to have are pretty low, especially with my leader effect life. I can easily basically kill him, and I'm just kind of like making sure, because I'm telling you, I can't do math for some reason. So I'm like donning out my plays and making sure I actually have enough Dawn to be able to actually kill him, because I messed up my Dawn like a couple times this tournament. I was like this is actually the first one where I actually like took it super seriously, because he's one of the best players in Jacksonville. So I wanted to like play super serious against him and, you know, obviously have a good game. And I was like, okay, is this actually enough Dawn to kill him? And I was like mathing it out in my head. And so what ends up happening is I swing 7 with the double finger. He only has 2 cards in hand, so he's either going to give me both of them or he's going to take this life. And I don't think at this point, he actually said he didn't have enough to counter out of the 7K. So of course he's going to end up taking it, but he wants to just double check and make sure that that is the right play. So Ryan, like I said, usually he doesn't really make a whole lot of mistakes. I don't think. It's usually, if he does, it's like a very tiny one that we'll talk about at the end of the game, like the Borsalino, him attacking, with the Borsalino right there. But other than that, like he's a pretty good player for sure. Definitely have to give it my all to beat him every time I play him. And make sure that I can actually do what I need to do. So he goes in and takes that 7K, and then I go 9K at life. And obviously, if they take a life, it could be a 2K counter, so you have to go 2K over what you did the last attack. And I go 9 at life, and then he's... What I love about Ryan is, like, when he knows he's gonna lose, he starts, like, smiling a little bit. It's like his tell, I guess, if you play poker. And right here, he starts laughing. And he's like, there is a route for me to win, but it's pretty unlikely. So I think this had to be a 2K for him to win the game, and he took it. And then obviously I used my leader effect, trash his last life, and then I gained a Dawn from Kid, and I debate swinging with the Kid right there, but I was like, if he counters out of this, I'd rather still have the blocker, and I swing 10. And he's like, oh my God, he starts laughing. And I'm like, I think I got this one, bro. I think I got this one. Like I said, if there's a route to beating Sakazuki, it's just right here. It's like temporarily starving them out of resources and then being able to kill them if they can't basically kill yours. So he reveals his hand. He can get exactly to 10K. And I was like, is that 11? And I was like, because I counted the Borsalino as like another counter for some reason. But yeah, he can only get to 10K. And then obviously I have a 10K swing with Kaido and a 10K swing with the Kid. So I end up winning this game, and a lot of fun. Obviously, Sakazuki's not the matchup you want to see. This deck does really well into Enel and Purple Luffy, but Sakazuki is not a favorite matchup at all. And him and I were just kind of talking about the game after the match ended. But I will go ahead and show you guys round 2, which I played against a smoker, but the guy was a little bit newer, so it wasn't really too close of a game. But I did play against an Enel for practice, who's one of the best players in Jacksonville. His name is Mark, and I was able to get it on video. So instead of round 2, I will show you the practice game, which we took seriously as a tournament. So all right. So like I said, Kaido does really good into Enel and Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy just 10-drop Kaido, just completely wins the game. And then Enel being able to trash their life that they gain off their leader effect basically nullifies their entire leader effect, and it feels great. Like I said, this guy on the left is playing Enel. I'm sorry, it's a glare right there. For some reason, his Enel is very shiny. I think it's just the casing that he had, and he didn't draw too great this game, but it's whatever. Sometimes people just don't draw great, but he is one of the better players in Jacksonville for sure, and definitely a tough opponent to play. I actually ended up playing him in the finals he was playing a different deck, obviously. I just asked him to play this one, either this or Purple Luffy, and I swing 6 at life here. Now, if you do, those of you guys who were watching my stream, you'll know that I actually starve Enel out of resources, but this is not one of the decks to do it. You need to put a lot of pressure on their life, especially with, Purple with his leader effect. You want to basically put them into just a super, super, super bad spot. By applying a lot of pressure. So he goes ahead and plays Ohm on his 5 Dawn turn and goes ahead and whiffs. And I'm like, you got the dog? He's like, nah, I don't got the dog, which is crazy, right? Every time I play against Enel, I feel like they always have the dog in hand. Like, even if they whiff off the Ohm. So he passes his turn after whiffing with the Ohm, and then I go ahead and ramp with Onigashima, and I swing 5 at his life, and I think I miscalculate my Dawn here. Or did I? What was I going to do here? I remember leaving Dawn open, and I was like, why did I do that? Yeah, I played King, and I popped his Ohm, and I left 1 Dawn open so I could have gone 6. I don't know why I did that. That was so stupid of me. I was just dude, I was just goofing this turn. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. I've been going through some stuff recently, so my head hasn't been completely in one piece like it should. And sometimes I have lapses of focus because I got other stuff on my mind. But I did try to play this tournament as serious as I could, so I can kind of represent this deck for you guys and give the people a chance. So he goes ahead and swings 7 at life. I take it, and then he ohms again and whiffs again. I'm like, what? That's beyond crazy, dude. So I go ahead and swing 5 at his life, and he goes ahead and counters out with a Gadatsu, and I use my leader effect, and I swing 7 at his life. Goes ahead and takes it. I think he triggers into, is it a Sanji here? I don't remember. No trigger. And then I pop his Ohm. So I'm off to a hot start, right? I'm just high rolling the hell out of him, right? King into Kaido is really strong. And I debate going 10 here. And I was like, the best thing he can do is just play the what's it called? Play the Yamato. So like, it doesn't really matter to me if he plays the Yamato, even if he gains a life. Like, I'm still in a really good spot, and if he doesn't play Yamato, I'm in an even better spot. Like, I'm gonna kill him instantly, right? So that's kind of my philosophy on why I attacked into his life there. Usually you don't leave him at 1 life, but like, I personally really don't care about the Yamato at all. So he swings 5 at life, and then I go ahead and counter with the Babanuki, and he gains a life. And I go ahead and get my 2 Dawn for the turn, and then I use my Onigashima to get a rested Dawn. So I'm at a total of 7 Dawn active and 1 Dawn rested, and then I have 2 Dawn still in my Dawn deck. So I go ahead and swing 7 at his life here, and then he goes ahead and takes it. Doesn't trigger into anything, I don't think. Maybe he does. Nope, he triggers into a Satori right here. And he goes and discards an L Thor, and I swing 7 at his life. And I think what he was going to do here is he was going to take it, but then he realized that I do play Sheep's Horn, and he knows that. So he actually blocks with the Sanji here to prevent me from actually going Sheep's Horn. And because he did that, I was like, I don't really need to attack, I guess. It doesn't matter. So I go ahead and play it just a kid, and I pass. I'm like, it doesn't, like, I'm not going to let you just cycle, you know, your effect. And I'll leave the Kaido active in case you're trying to like kill the Kaido. Looks like the camera shook a little bit there, but yeah, like I'm just firmly in control of this game. I have 3 life. I have a blocker. I have 2 pretty big characters, and I'm just feeling good. I think I have like 6 cards in hand, so I'm feeling relatively good here. He does a low Dawn commitment test here and just goes 9 into the King, and I believe I counter out of this one, if I remember correctly. Yep, I counter out with this one right here. I actually, if you guys can see, I have the Treasure Cup Queen in my hand. And I like, dude, every time I have the chance to use it, I want to play it so bad because it just feels good, man. Like playing with such a like high rarity card. I don't know, it just makes me feel good. Of course, I could have sold it, but I like playing it. You know, it just makes me feel good. So he goes ahead and swings 5 at my life right there. I go ahead and take it. And I think what he's gonna do is play a Katakuri. He goes and swings 8 at my life here. And then I go ahead and I think I rest my kid here. I think I'm out of 2Ks, and then I just discard a Queen to get out of the 6K attack. And then he goes ahead and plays a Katakuri right here, and then gets the L Thor. I'm sorry, he saves the Dawn for the L Thor. I'm pretty sure he puts the Tori at the bottom of his life, which is smart, right? Because he wants to see what he's going to trigger before he knows if he wants to trigger the Satori again. So very, very, very smart play. What ends up happening is I think I can still pierce through either way, and I'm gonna play around the Thunderbolt, obviously. So I go ahead 9 at life here. He goes ahead and takes it. No trigger right there. I go ahead 9 at life with my leader now, you know, because I played around the Thunderbolt, and I think he takes this one too, or maybe not. I think he L Thors this one. He does have the active or the active Dawn, by the way. I don't know if I see arrested Dawn, but I'm pretty sure he had the active Dawn. So then I go 9 at life again, because when I use my leader effect to trash his last life, if he gets out of it somehow, then I still have a Dawn up for Judgment of Hell. So I use my leader effect, and then I gain a life as active, and then I go 12 at life, and I just math him out of the game, and I win right there. So that is technically pseudo round 2 for you guys against a Enel and a good player. All right, so this is actually the real round 3. I'm playing against a Zoro. Now, I will say, just for preference, or just to pretext, this guy is a little bit newer to the game, and he is playing Zoro. So, couple things he didn't do accurately, or, you know, a couple targets that, you know, he kind of didn't attack that he should have attacked, and I'll point that out. And if you are a newer player, this will be a learning experience, or even an average player. You know, maybe there's some things you don't know. So I'll point them out whenever I do so. But generally, this is not a favored matchup for Kaido, right? Sakazuki and Zoro are 2 matchups that are generally not very good for Kaido. So, you know, I was actually very worried about both of those matches, for both round 1 and round 3. And he goes ahead and plays a Buggy. He doesn't have anything on turn 1, unfortunately, and then turn 2 he finds a Buggy, and I draw Oni off my life, but I'm like, actually the better play here is Khalifa, because I'm going to go into 5-cost Kid, and I'm going to draw 2, discard 1, use Khalifa as a pseudo blocker, and be able to cycle my hand. So actually, it was a little bit of a big brain move to not play Khalifa. I'm sorry, to not play the Oni right there. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but I think that's the best play, especially because I want to keep getting counters in my hand. So he attacks 5 at life here. I'm sorry, 6 at life here. and I discard. I'm sorry, 5 at life, I discard a queen. 6 at life, I discard Frankie, and then he plays a Zoro and swings 6 at life. I discard another Frankie. The reason I'm okay doing that is because I didn't want to take too much life early on, and then also, I want to be able to, with my cost reduction, or I'm sorry, with my Khalifa effect, I will be able to get more cards in my hand later on, and I'll be able to cycle, and I'll be able to be at a relatively healthy life count because I did technically just +1 off it. So I discarded 10 cost Kaido because I just don't think it's going to be very useful right now. Then I Rampadon active with the kid, and I swing 6 at the Zoro, which of course he's going to be able to save it because that's just how it works. Now, of course, there's an argument to be made where I go 5 at Zoro, 5 at Zoro, but I'd rather get the guaranteed buggy off the board, than not do so. So that is the play I decided to make. Unfortunately, the Zoro does live, which puts me in a little bit of a weird spot, but because I have 4 life, I'm in a pretty healthy position, and I have a decent amount of cards in hand because of the Khalifa. So I'm not in a horrible spot here. Obviously, a jet pistol would absolutely suck here, but he does a weird, I think he Jambes here, and it's like super weird. I don't remember why, but I think he had 2 Jambes. I don't remember exactly, but he does like a couple weird plays throughout this tournament, and yeah, I mean, no shame to him at all. He's just a newer player, so like there's some simple stuff that like you just don't get from other card games. So he swings 7 at my life here. I thought he was going to try to kill the Khalifa, but he just didn't. So I go ahead and take it, and then I think I trigger into a Miss All Sunday, and then I don't get her. I get her obviously her ramp one, but I don't get the draw unfortunately because I'm at 5 Dawn instead of 6. But the extra body really does help, especially like against Zoro. Like the most annoying thing that they can do is just play like a bunch of characters and go super wide. And like if they have 5 characters and you only have two attack targets, like all their characters that turn sideways are just gonna be able to live and attack again and get more cards out of your hand or do more life, and it's just like really, really, really annoying. So I figured the Miss All Sunday there, even if it gets me sets me back a Dawn, I'm not really planning on playing Kaido this entire tournament, or I'm sorry, this entire match, because like the more low to the ground option is just better overall, I think. So I think just playing like, 5 cost blockers and, like stuff like Khalifa is actually just better into Zoro. So he goes ahead and swings 7 at life. And then it's actually another Miss All Sunday. But I'm like, I'm not going to use it, bro. There's no way. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, I was like, I debated another Miss All Sunday, but I'm not going down to like 4 Dawn. Like that's just crazy, right? Especially because I think I make a pretty cool play this turn. As well, but I think I actually missequenced something here. If I remember right, I think I messed something up here. So I go 5 at the Zoro, and he goes ahead and lets it live with a Magra. So I think he already dedicated a little bit too much to save the Zoro, in my opinion. I don't think you should die on a hill that you don't need to die on. So I go ahead and draw 1 with Miss All Sunday, and then I do have 2 Dawn here, and I'm going to make a very cool play. If because I still have Onigashima and I want to play it a lot, but I'll see what he does here. So I go ahead and use my Khalifa effect to ramp a Dawn essentially with the kid and then get to 3 active Dawn. I swing 5 at the Zoro, and he goes ahead and lets it go with the Robin, and I swing 6 at the Zoro, and I'm like, are you going to let this thing go or what? And he's like, no, I don't think I will. He dedicates way too much. And I was going to play the Onigashima there, but then he decides to save the Zoro. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll play the Wire now. And I'm down to 2 life, so I'm not really in, the healthiest of life counts, especially with the Zoro already on the board. So, yeah, I will say I think the mistake here is not only overcommitting to save the Zoro, but also not attacking that Khalifa, because now that Khalifa has given me, 4 card draws, and obviously I have to discard 2, but I don't know, like being able to cycle my hand with the on attack queen effect is just really, really, really powerful. And basically I just used her as a pseudo blocker, and he just never attacked her once. And I was like, in theory that makes sense, because Zoro really just wants to kill you as fast as possible. But if I keep getting cards in my hand, you're not gonna be able to kill me as fast as possible. So yeah, so I think that was a bit of a mistake on his part right there. And he's gonna make a mistake right here that I let him take back, but he puts 4 Dawn on Zoro. Or 3 Dawn on Zoro, and attacks for 9k at life. And then I'm like, I'll just block. And he's like, oh, I didn't even see that blocker there. I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, okay, he's like, let me read that real quick. And I'm like, all right, it's whatever. I mean, I was in a pretty good spot either way, so I'm not really tripping about it. Of course, you know, you can be like a rule shark and be like, if this was the finals, I'd probably be like, I don't know, dude, you made your play. But I mean, I didn't even know if I was going to make the finals, you know, because this tournament is usually pretty stacked with like good players. So I didn't even like think it mattered too much, but it realistically could have. You know, I could have very well lost. But you'll see. I took control of this game like pretty much from the get go. With the Khalifa, and the Khalifa being able to stick as long as it did, it just felt great. And obviously the Miss All Sunday trigger is fantastic because it helped me just like build board. And then he goes ahead and swings 7 at life, in which I counter out with a Babanuki and a 2K. And he swings 9 at life, and I just block anyway. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna block it with wire. And then he goes ahead and passes turn, leaving 4 Dawn up. And I was stupid here. I didn't play around the Oh, actually, I did. I'm sorry. I played around the Red Hawk here because he had 4 Dawn up, and I didn't want him to Red Hawk and kill the Khalifa before I got the draw. So I swing 5 at his Zoro, and I'm like, dude, how many cards are you going to use to get rid of this, to save this Zoro? It was actually just, it was redonkulous how many cards you use to save the Zoro. And then he lets it die. And I'm like, all right, now we can finally do stuff. I played my Treasure Cup Queen, and I was so excited to be able to play it. And I draw 2, and then I trash 1, and then I use my Kids effect to get the Dawn back as active, and I swing 5 in case he triggers Jet Pistol. I use another draw 2, trash 1. So I'm just gaining so much value from these characters. And he goes ahead and debates the trigger, and he's like, nah, don't worry about it. So that trigger very well could have been this Khalifa right there. And then I swing 5 at life again, and I think he takes this one as well. And then I swing 5 at life with my leader, and he goes ahead and counters out with something, a Robin, and I swing 6 at life. And because I obviously have another 6K blocker, so having 2 of them doesn't really make too much of a difference. And he goes ahead and counters with a 2K counter. I believe it's another Makino, right? The Makino, yep. And then I go ahead and trash the Miss All Sunday and play another blocker kid. So I now have 3 6K blockers, but only 2 of them as active, but I have 2 life. And because of the Queen cycle and the Khalifa cycle, I have a ton of cards at my disposal. So I'm just in such a good spot. I'm just in such a commanding position that I don't think it's even possible to lose at this point, right? Especially with my leader effect, I can just do the kill combo and I'll be good to go. So, man, it is actually late. It's almost 1 in the morning when I'm recording this, and it's going to come out probably like 11, you know, on a Saturday. So, yeah, if you guys like this video, let me know. Go ahead and like the video to help me with the algorithm boost. I recently hit 6,000 subscribers, so you guys' support has been just massive to me, and I really appreciate you guys, you know, sticking with me through this ride. I definitely have had some hot takes. I've had some clapbacks. I've had a lot of moments, you know, because I don't know how to be an internet person. And, you know, you guys are with me through all of it. So I appreciate it. And thanks for the love, guys. It really, really, really means a lot. So for those of you guys who don't know, I am actually starting a website soon. We actually hired, my friend and I hired some developers to help us make this website, and we think it's going to be so incredibly not only useful but beautiful and very just great for the community. So I'm so excited. It got delayed, which is why we're selling our mats now. Like I said, if you guys want to buy our mats, you know, just join the Discord and I'll post it in the store channel, and then I'll tag everybody as well. So I'm very excited for that to come out, but it just hasn't done so yet. That will come out probably mid to late February, depending on when the developers are done with the site. And I think it's just another journey for you guys to follow me along, you know, for the ride. And it's going to be so cool. Like, you guys have no idea the ambition I have for this website. I realistically think it will be so good for the community, and it'll provide so much value. It's just gonna be fantastic. So he goes and swings 6 of life with a Diable Jumble because he just knows he lost at this point, and you know, it doesn't really matter either way. I go ahead and put. I don't even think it matters with like a Jet Pistol trigger right here. So I go ahead and swing 12 at life right here, and then he has 1 card in hand, and he goes ahead and takes it, and then I use my leader effect, trash his last life, gain 2 back with the kids. And then I swing 7 at life, and he's like, you got it, buddy. You got it. So that was round 3. I will post the final round now. All right, guys, round 4. There is a glare on the camera again. I'm sorry. Usually this camera angle doesn't have any glare, so definitely apologize for that. But I'm playing against a blue Luffy. For those of you guys who don't know what blue Luffy is, he came out in the first anniversary event, and he is a leader that says Dawn X1 if you have, I believe it's 4 or less cards in hand. When on attack, draw a card. So it's actually, bro, when I say it's actually low-key the best, like, mono blue leader, I kind of think, like, the value that it gets is just very, very, very powerful. And obviously you kind of deck build around it by like playing a bunch of 2Ks and whatnot. But it's really good into Purple Luffy. It's pretty good into Sakazuki. It's pretty good into Enel. Like, it's just pretty powerful, honestly. Like, I do think this is the best blue Luffy deck. Or, I'm sorry, the best mono blue leader in the game right now. Better than Crocodile, better than Doflamingo. And you'll kind of see how it plays. Although I will say this was a weird game because because the threat of the 10 cost Kaido looms, he wasn't really able to play any of his big cards safely. So this is like a battle of like... This is like a battle of like who's going to drop one first, basically. Because if he drops a 10 cost Kaido or a Mihawk and then I board wipe him, it's going to be pretty good for me, right? Because he just wasted his entire turn to establish a character, then I kill it. And then obviously for him to even come back, he has to red rock and then basically waste his entire turn red rocking my Kaido and then playing like a blocker or something like that. So in theory, this could be a good matchup for him because he has access to red rock to like kill my big guys. But like also low key, if I see 10 drop Kaido on curve, I can realistically just like prevent him from like playing big guys, right? And that's kind of what happened this game. He plays a ton of blockers, so many 2K counters, so many blockers. It's just really, really like a cool deck, right? So he goes and plays a Dofi blocker, and he rearranges his top 5 as such. Do you guys watch Keck Filet? Keck, if you're watching this video, bro, shout out to you, buddy. I haven't talked to you in a little bit, but hope you're doing well. But whenever Keck used to do his like Dofi videos, he'd be like, I rearranged my deck as such. But like obviously no one could see the cards, so like it was just funny the way he said it. And one time he became self-aware at the end. He was like, I know I say that and you guys don't know the hell I'm talking about, just trust me. So he goes ahead and just Hound Blazes nothing and gives his leader plus 3000. He attacks for 8 at life, and I was like, well, I guess I'll take that one too. I didn't expect the Hound Blaze right there. I thought he was going to just attack 7 and I was going to easy counter out of that one with Queen. But I didn't want to rest Queen and then him attacking into Queen and just take cards out of my hand. So good play by him. Did 2 life pretty aggressively, and definitely 3 life is aggression is how you beat Kaido, right? And he was able to do a pretty good job of it. So here's where I messed up again, right? I literally I don't know how I did this so stupid, but I miscounted my Dawn. I attacked 5 into his boa, but it should have been like a 7, and I attacked 6 into his boa. And then he counters out to both of them, obviously. And then I just, I'm like, what was I thinking, bro? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm in these tournaments, so I'm like, bro, I literally can't do math. And then I'm like, I don't know. I thought I was at like 9 Dawn. I don't even remember what I was gonna do. I think I was gonna wire and then play King, but I ended up just having to play the King anyway. And I had 2 Dawns saved. I'm like I'm telling you, bro, I'm just a doofus, bro. I'm actually a doofus. So I ended up killing his boa and then just like having 2 Dawn up, like baiting a Hell's Judgment. But I don't even think I was gonna use it. Like I don't know. If I had it, I don't think I was gonna use it either way. So he goes ahead and red rocks the King, which is smart, right? The King's a pretty big target. He's a 7K. And he's obviously out of range of the 3000 worlds, so the only way for him to kill him is Mihawk, and which, of course, if I respond with a 10 cost Kaido, then I'm in a great spot. And obviously, a 7K attack into your life every single turn is going to be pretty tough to deal with, especially if you can't get rid of him safely. So it's not terrible to red rock there. I think it's smart. So he attacks 7 at life right there, and I go ahead and 3K counter out of it. Now there's a world where I take that, but I don't know. Going down to 2 is not really where I want to be at. It's not the business I want to be in. And I'm like, I don't really have any plays. I have the 10 cost Kaido right here, but I feel like that's just not the right play. I feel like that's like a weird, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just not the right play to make. So what do I do here? I swing 6 at his life, and he goes ahead and counters out with a 2K counter Nami, which is an $80 card, by the way. How crazy is that? And then I swing 6 at his life again. I think he takes this one. No, he blocks. And then I go ahead and play Khalifa, and I play a Kid. Now, what I do here is I could have very well played the 10 cost Kaido and either board wiped or even just played him as vanilla. But I feel like the strategy here is actually just play how you kind of play into Sakazuki, is just you just like play a bunch of wide characters and make them waste their removal on it. And if you can do that, I think you're in a really good spot. So it goes ahead and 3,000 worlds the Khalifa right here. Or I'm sorry, the 5 cost kid, which is fine, right? Like it does provide me a lot of value. But I think him bottom decking the Khalifa might have been slightly better right there. I don't know. That Khalifa gave me a lot of value and was able to help me like grind, because he draws a lot of cards, obviously, as Blue Luffy, and he has access to 10 cost Kaido. But, you know, I was able to grind for a lot longer than I normally would because of all the cycle. Then he goes ahead and swings 8 at the Luffy and uses effect to draw. And then I let the Queen die, and then he swings 7 at my life there, which, you know, is now it puts me at 2. It's not the greatest position in the world, that's for sure. And I go ahead and play Wire right here. And I go ahead and rest my 5 Dawn for a Queen. I use Queen's effect to, he's like, okay, you got a Dawn minus first. I'm like, okay, my bad. So I draw 2, discard 1, and then I use Wire's effect, draw 1, discard 1. And then I go ahead and use Oni's effect to ramp a Dawn as rested. And then I go ahead and use Khalifa's effect to attack into the Dofi for a 5k. I use her draw 2, discard 1. So I just drew a ton of cards that turn, guys. I literally just drew 5 cards in one turn. And then he let the Dofi go, and I attack 6 into his life, in which I believe he counters out of this one if I remember. Nope, he does not. I do not have a good memory, guys. He takes it. I have the memory of a goldfish. And I think I'm in a great spot right now. Like, even a Mihawk wouldn't be devastating, especially because if he Mihawks, I was able to keep the Khalifa on the board, so he had to choose. However, he did have the perfect answer to what I was trying to do. He's at 10 Dawn now. This is the turn where I think he takes Khalifa and Queen off the board or something like that. I don't remember exactly which one. I think he leaves Queen and takes Khalifa and Wire off. But I wasn't expecting not to spoil it, but he's gonna play Borsellino this turn, the 7 cost. And for some reason, it like didn't cross my mind. I forgot that he like has access to that for some reason. And he obviously is gonna swing heavily into my Khalifa, because the longer that thing stays, like the more value that's going to provide me. It's just, especially if I can get out like a kid, I literally just get like a free draw 2, discard 1. It's just great. So he obviously wants to prioritize that, but with 2 blockers, I'm putting him in a really weird position here. And if he plays a really big character like Mihawk, he has to choose which one he needs to get off the board. And, you know, Mihawking a Khalifa isn't really what you want to do, right? It's like a weird play to make. So I think what he ends up doing is I think he ends up swinging 8 at the Khalifa. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to block this. Like, it's not a big deal at all. But I don't remember exactly. So let's find out together, shall we? So, yeah, guys. Life is happening. I don't know, I'm awkward. I'm an awkward person. I am going to be going to Nats, by the way, guys. I'm going to be going to Nats in LA. I have procrastinated in booking my flight, but I am actually going to be going. So if you guys are going to be going, feel free to hit me up. I might not do the meet and greet because, you know, I'm in LA for a very short amount of time. So, you know, I want to maximize my time outside of the venue. So I probably won't do the meet and greet, unfortunately, guys. But if you see me in the event, feel free to say what's up. So he goes ahead and plays the Borsellino right there. And then he bottom decks the Khalifa, which is a good play. Leaves me with just a Queen. And that puts me in a weird position too, right? Because I want to board wipe here, but I'm like, I feel like if he red rocks here, I'm just in a bad spot. So like I just play another Queen, and I'm like, all right, what am I like? I was hoping to draw into another either a Queen or a 5 cost kid or even a Wire, but I wasn't able to do so with the Queens right there. And I activate Oni, obviously get a Dawn rested, and I go back to 10. And I'm like, I don't really have any plays. I have another Khalifa I could possibly use, but I didn't have a whole lot of counter in hand. So I was like, I kind of need this Khalifa as a counter. Even though I do play 12 2Ks and I do play 2 Judgment of Hells and quite a few 1Ks actually. So I ideally should have more counter than I actually did, but I kept it in my hand. And I go ahead and swing 7 at life here. And then he goes ahead and counters that, because I wanted him to take it and then I'd put Dawn on my Queen and attack for 9. But because he did that, I was like, damn, like I can't do what I want to do. And I bait Judgment of Hell here. So I just attack 7. He only has 2 cards in hand, I think. Or maybe 3. So I was like, do I put 9 on, or put 3 on Queen? And I was like, no, I think a 7 will do just fine. So I swing 7 at life, and I'm right. He takes it. and no trigger, and he goes ahead and passes. So, you know, two bodies on the board, a queen and another queen, and I feel relatively safe. I figured if he Mihawks something here and then swings into the queen, then, you know, I can easily board wipe him, but Mark's a smart player, and he's not going to, like, superly, like, heavily play into 10-drop Kaido, because, I mean, I mean, I've literally drawn, like, 20 cards at this point. Like, he knows, like, I have one of them in my hand, especially because I trashed one already. So, he's a smart guy. He's not going to make stupid mistakes, and he's not going to, like, play heavily into it. So, he swings 8 at the queen just to see what I'm going to do. And, of course, if I had the Hell's Judgment here, I would have played it. But I didn't, and I'm like, I kind of want to let it go. And maybe it was right. Maybe there's a world where I could have let it go. Or I'm sorry, I could have saved it. But I think I was going to 10 cost no matter what. Because I was like, he has to play something with his 10 Dawn. And I was like, if that's a Mihawk or anything like that, then I'm in such a stellar position, and I want to save the counter in my hand for when it really matters. And later on, it does matter, actually, towards the end of this game. So he goes ahead and debates. He's debating using his red rock right here. He's tapping 6 Dawn. He's like, I'm just going to play it either way because I think he's going to kill me. And so he goes ahead and taps his 6 Dawn, and he's like debating, but he's like, yeah, I'm just going to use it. And he goes ahead and red rocks the queen, and I'm like, all right, that's your second red rock. I think I already knew. I was keeping track. I don't think I looked in his trash, but I knew for a fact that was the second red rock. Then he swings 9 at life here, and I go ahead and take it. And I have like, dude, I have like 10 cards in hand. Like, I have a ton of cards in hand. Like, I mean, if you, my hand is like pretty much like Whitebeard's, right? I board drop right here. I'm like, all right. I mean, I've had it in my hand since turn 1. I got to use it sometime, right? And I use Kaido's effect, and I swing 5 at his life, in which obviously he's gonna go ahead and counter out of this one right here, and I think he's gonna give me a 2K. And I'm checking his trash right now. I'm like, all right, do you have another red rock right here? He gives me a 1K Soga King right here. So obviously he goes to back to 10 Dawn during his refresh phase, and I think he makes the right play here, right? Like, he's going to do something crazy. He's gonna play blocker, or I'm sorry, promo law, which if I have 6 or more cards in my hand, I take a life. And then what's funny is if he attacks for 9K right here, I actually lose the game. I only had 4K in counter, but I had 10 cards in hand. So like the odds of him actually being able to connect are like super unlikely. So he technically made the right play, right? He plays a 4-cost blocker, which is going to be Basil Hawkins, and he goes ahead and passes, right? Just to let you know. So he goes in and swings 5 at life here, and I'm like, dude, I literally have like 10 cards in hand. So it's the right play for him to make. Of course, he would have won if he would have swung 9 right there, but he has, you know, 2K counters in hand. He has 2 cards in hand, and they're both 2Ks. So he was like, there's no way he can kill me, right? Actually false. I'm looking at my Dawn right now, and I'm like, I think I can actually do this cool little play right here. And I mean, it's not really a cool little play, but it's just I'm like, I literally can math him out of the game. Like, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that either. Was I just Sheep's Horn him, Dawn -1, and then I have 7 Dawn left. I have 5 Dawn active, and I attack 10 at his life. He only has 2 cards in hand, and I use all of my Dawn, I use all my Dawn and go 12 at life, and I win the game right there. So super fun game, guys. I end up going 4-0 with Kaido. I played an ace for fun after this, and then obviously I played Enel for fun, and I went 6-0, and then I played my friend playing Sakazuki, and he actually beat me. So this deck went 6-1 at a pretty competitive tournament, and did pretty good with it. So yeah, love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.